Hi and good morning. Welcome to HRS 2025 in sunny San Diego. My name is Jennifer Maffrey, Director of Medical Affairs at Johnson & Johnson MedTech. I'm here with Dr. Luigi Di Biase, Professor of Montefiore Einstein Hall Medical System in New York. Hi, Dr. Di Biase. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Jennifer. My pleasure to be here and with HRS TV.
Yeah. I love HRS because it's an opportunity to stay on top of the recent data, catch up with old friends, and have an opportunity to understand what are best practices at everybody's hospital, what's good, what's bad. We want to talk about the fact that you came to our booth yesterday. We talked about the VARIPULSE and NUVISION Catheter. Could you please give us a highlight reel of the things you shared at the booth?
Thank you very much. I had the opportunity of being involved into the development of the VARIPULSE Catheter. I was involved in some preclinical studies, some remapping study in the animal. Finally, I was involved in the European study, in the first wave, in the American FDA clinical trial, and one of the first center in the post-market release of the catheter.
That's right.
So I had to say, I have kind of a pretty good understanding and experience with the use of this catheter. I think something that needs to be said is that we now have many PFA catheters, and we try to use them the same way, but each of them has some different features.
That's right.
One catheter require more sheet manipulation, one catheter require a higher number of application, one catheter require assessment of contact through intracardiac echo. So,
or change in temperature, right?
yeah, so some of the things that needs to be said is that when you use this catheter, you need to know how to best use this catheter. And if I have to think about it, what are the the workflow that over time I think I get to think is one of the optimal workflow. Number one, I like the fact that you can have a small size sheet. It goes into an SL0, into an Agilis, into a Visigo, into any deflectable sheet, but small size. Small size means lower risk of air embolism, lower risk of when you do the transeptal of having a bigger hole in the heart. So I feel this is a good advantage. Second advantage is the same catheter can map and ablate, remap and reablate or verify isolation. And you can verify isolation through pacing maneuver. It's a circular catheter, so you can put this in the vein and just go around the electrodes. You can do pacing, you can do voltage. One possible limitation about the remapping with this catheter is that the electrode size is big, it's not as small as an octa-array or a penta-array or any other multimodality mapping. So you really need to discriminate well between far field and real reconnection. And I think this is very important because this catheter, the best way to use this catheter is to minimize the number of applications.
Yes.
There are some recent data that came out with an increased risk of TIA stroke using this catheter, but these were associated with a high number of applications.
Right.
In the clinical trial, when we were below 24 applications, there was really a very small risk about this catheter. So the first advice is to give application only when all the parameters that are put in place are there, which is contact, good position, and good rotation. So you really need to minimize the number of applications to get the best out of it.
And now, our products are always fully integrated with CARTO. The fact that it tells you the number of applications, number of ablations you've made with the product, that's also something that is helpful. But when you also combine this product with the NUVISION catheter, does it help you in terms of understanding how well placed the product is, or you are primarily relying on CARTO to do that?
Yeah, before going to NUVISION, I think there are more things I want to say about the VARIPULSE.
Sure.
Because it's now integrated with the tissue proximity indicator, which is a way to assess contact.
Right.
And you will have some kind of Mickey Mouse clouds around each electrodes, the way I like to call them. And you can assess contact that way. You can assess contact with the use of intracardiac echo because the advantage is going back to what I've been used to, which is 3D mapping integrated with the CARTO sound FAM, where you can have a shell of the left atrium automatically built by the eyes, and the eyes can be very useful to assess contact. So all these three information are key because you want good contact with any PFA catheter, and you have way and means to do that. The second thing is that this catheter require a rotation to have of 150, 180 degree to go to have a full pass isolation. To do that, you have to avoid stacking the catheter. You have actually to pull back the catheter, rotate, and then re-advance, rather than just trying to stack that into the tissue. And these are very important information. Number three, and I've been conducting in my early career research with my mentor, Dr. Natale, a lot of study on uninterrupted anticoagulation, IACT, to reduce the stroke risk in patients undergoing atrial fibrillation ablation, especially persistent. All this concept apply to this catheter. The procedure need to be done with uninterrupted anticoagulation. You have to go on when the ACT, ideally at 350, never below 300. And if you are below 350, you are at 320, just treat that with 5,000 of heparin, but don't go on if the ACT is low. All these things we learn very well. If you follow all these instructions and you limit the number of applications, I feel the catheter is pretty smooth. You can end up the procedure with 16 applications in the PVI and take it from there. Second level is you gave us now an intracardiac echo like NUVISION that is also built with a 4D. And why I liked it? Well, the world of EP is going to concomitant procedure. We now do a lot of patients that do an ablation and have an indication for closure, or they prefer the closure because they are very non-compliant to the medication. They end up telling you, doctor, I'm not really breathing, but I forget this medication. I just, nothing I can do about it. So I mean,
it's an issue with compliance.
Compliance is such a big deal in the stroke management. So we end up doing a lot of concomitant procedure, of course, especially when the patient bleed, but there are other indications. So when we do the concomitant procedure, ideally, I really like having, a cardiovascular anesthesiologist, expert in TE imaging, having a cardiology expert in ET imaging, because they help me to the closure. But this is not practical. They cannot be there for 3-4 cases every day in every lab and be able to cover all of this. So being independent is an important thing in life and in the EP lab. So NUVISION give me the possibility of performing the procedure with without the need of them, because I can do eyes only. And having 3D and 4D and being able to evaluate in a better way the position of the closure device, presence of leaks, the presence of compression, and all the things that we need to measure. It's
and
incredible.
Also creating that volume,
And creating the volume. And then we have not mentioned until now that all these things, the ablation with VARIPULSE integrated with ICE and CARTO, the NUVISION, all of these things can be done with minimal or no fluoro. Now, I'm kind of an old generation guy, and I like to use fluoro or a touch of the fluoro, but I admit this procedure can be done without it at all, and I have all my junior people in my hospital actually that they learn their way, and they really see no benefit in the fluoro. Why we can do procedures non-fluoro? Because of ICE and because of the integration of 3D ICE, 4D ICE, and intracardiac echo. And these are unique features that I think we're gonna be talking more and more, because we are doing more procedure. PFA and left atrial appendage closure are becoming more efficient procedure. I don't want to talk about...
And consolidating that view on CARTO, do you find that to be also helpful?
I mean, the consolidation on CARTO, it's an additional tool. I don't know if it's like a necessary tool. Of course, as I like to say, the more option you give to my car, if you give me leather seat, air conditioning, and I don't need to use all the options, but if you give
nice that they're there.
If you give me a full package, everything can be used.
I
mean, I don't think it's determinant at this time. But I feel, technology evolve, and what can be maybe not determinant, if you start giving me AI algorithm to automatically assess with the 3D reconstruction of the eyes, the leak. I don't know, maybe it will become
Definitely
determinant.
future, right.
So I think I like the fact that there is improvements that you guys are working on technologies
Yeah.
to improve the efficiency of our procedure in terms of safety, in terms of the duration of this procedure, that becomes more efficient, good for the hospital, good for the doctor, good for the patient.
Right. Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Well, you heard it here at HRS 2025 in San Diego. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Dr. Biase, professor at Montefiore Einstein Halt Medical Center. I appreciate your time here. Safe travels back to New York. And thank you guys for joining us here in San Diego.
Thank you very much to you, Jennifer, and thank you very much for HRS and to all the friends of HRS TV. Thank you very much.
Thank you.